There's a famous story about Jewish education that goes back to the Talmud. It references two of the most famous rabbis in the ancient world. Someone who was thinking of possibly becoming Jewish went to Rabbi Shammai and said, "Rabbi Shammai, can you teach me all of the Torah while standing on one foot?" In other words, quickly. And Rabbi Shammai said, "That's impossible. There's so much to learn. There's so many details. There's all these facts and stories and laws and traditions. There's no way I could teach it to you on one foot. Forget it. Go away." The man then came to Rabbi Hillel, who was known for being a little bit more patient than Rabbi Shammai. And so he said, "Rabbi Hillel, can you teach me all of the Torah while standing on one foot?" It doesn't record if Hillel actually went on one foot or not. But what he said was, "That which is hateful to you, do not do to others. All the rest is commentary. Now come and study." So he told him three things. The things that you don't like, don't do to someone else. Do not do unto others as you would not have them do unto you. He also said, the rest is commentary. And then he said, now come and study. You see, the interaction was the beginning, but not the end of the education. If he summed up the Torah on one foot, he also said, and yet there's more. You need to study more. There's more to discover. Now, I find that story fascinating as an example of Jewish education, because what was the core lesson that Hillel taught? It's a lesson you find in many cultures all over the world. The golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Don't do unto others as you don't want them to do to you. It appears in Islam, it appears in Confucianism and Buddhism and Hinduism, because it's a human lesson. It's a human value. It's a response to the human experience. So what makes it Jewish? It's a human experience expressed through Jewish culture, articulated in Jewish vocabulary, written in Jewish literature, connected to Jewish life and Jewish history and Jewish stories. You see, Jews are human too. We experience the world with its mortality and its challenges and its joys, and then we use our culture to filter that experience and express that experience. At its best, our education connects to that broader world of human culture and understands how they're responding to the human experience. That's the genius of our confirmation class program, if we can say so modestly. It's that we give our students the tools to experience other religions in the world and to understand how they are responding to those human realities in their own vocabulary, with their own culture, and then connect it to their Jewishness too as a parallel. One of our slogans when we talked about how to describe our congregation, we had a contest actually some years ago, one of our slogans was, "We're better than nothing," which worked on two levels. One is that we're better than nothing, but also we're better than being nothing. It's better to be something, to have roots and a tradition and a sense of who you are, how you came to be, and what your values are. If you have that sense of your rootedness, you can then experience other cultures and find the parallels. What are your coming-of-age ceremonies? How do you deal with the challenges of life? We have our answers, they have their answers. That's cultural competency, as Marla explained it earlier. Our goals for our education, well, we want our students to be literate in Jewish culture. That's their culture. We want them to have experiences, to know what it's like to spin a dreidel and to light a menorah and to taste a latke. We want them to have some information. They should know who the character Moses is on some basic level. We want them to have some competencies, to understand how to do Jewish things, like some of the examples I mentioned. They should have shaken a lulav once in their life or smelled an etrog. And we want them to have some emotive attachments to these things too. For me, lighting Hanukkah candles with my children reminds me of lighting Hanukkah candles with my parents, because I had those experiences, and the Hanukkah-ness and the Jewishness and the family-ness, they're all connected in my emotional life, not just in my biography. So Jewish cultural literacy is a primary goal. But a second, just as important goal are humanistic values. Values like using reason, understanding the world through what makes sense, and what can you prove, and what does the evidence say, and can I live with I don't know, because all too often, I don't know. We want to inculcate independent thinking, which is ironic. You know, we tell the students, think for yourself. And if they do, are they obeying? Are they thinking for themselves? Well, a little bit of both. But we want them to be able to make up their own minds. That's why we show them what other people think to help clarify what they think. We also find a core humanistic and Jewish value in taking responsibility. Just because you're in charge of your own life doesn't mean you don't care about other people. In fact, it gives you the responsibility to use some of your power and knowledge and energy to help care for the people around you. And one of the core values of our humanistic approach is pluralism. If I get to be in charge of my life, you get to be in charge of your life. If I can make up my own mind, you'll make up your own mind, and we won't always agree. Actually, if we did always agree, that would be really boring. A world where we disagree and can disagree agreeably makes it interesting, because then we have something we might learn. Perhaps someone will change our mind, or we might change theirs. There are other goals that are part of our educational experience. We want what we teach to be relevant to the students, because if it's not relevant, if it feels far away or not part of their lives or not having any impact on who they are, then why bother? We want our students to experience joy. Sunday school should be fun, because Jewishness should be fun. It should be a positive experience in your life, and not everything that's good for you has to be miserable. And most importantly, we want to inculcate a value that's hard to do but is vital for any education. It's called curiosity. Here's the Torah on one foot. Now come and study. There's more to learn, there's more to discover, and so we hope that this Sunday school experience for our students becomes the beginning of a Jewish journey and not its end.